Pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call to order. Roll call, please.
Fisk.
Yes.
Christensen.
Here.
Milks.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Cantrell. Here. Fairfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight?
I've got something for old or new.
Old or new? Okay. Anybody else? All right. If not, we have a special presentation tonight. Mariah Taylor, if you'd like to come up behind me, please.
You need to approve the agenda as.
Oh, sorry. Can we have a move?
I'll make a move. I'll
Renee
second.
moves. Luann seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those two are going to be quick tonight.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're just going.
Hey, Ronnie, would you? Thanks. Yeah, fine. All right. This is Taylor Gish and Mariah Ash. They're in the senior seminar program at Oelwein High School, and their project was human trafficking. So we have a proclamation to read. Whereas human trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of forced labor or sexual servitude. And whereas human trafficking is a $32 billion a year global criminal enterprise and is a crime as well as a civil and human rights violation. And whereas the United States government estimates 600,000 to 800,000 individuals are trafficked across international borders each year and exploited through forced labor and forced commercial sexual activity. And whereas the United States is a major destination country for international trafficking victims, as approximately 14,500 to 17,500 folks are trafficked into the country each year. These numbers do not include domestically trafficked children and adults. And whereas human trafficking is a crime that impacts Iowa, and whereas the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 criminalized human trafficking at the federal level, and whereas Iowa passed anti-trafficking legislation in 2018, whereas more awareness and education is crucial to eradicating human trafficking in our communities, state, and nation, and whereas Human Trafficking Awareness Day will be observed on January 11th in municipalities across the country in order to educate the public and raise awareness about human trafficking, and whereas the City of Oelwein has a strong commitment to social justice. Now, therefore, I, Peggy Sheritz, Mayor of the City of Oelwein, do hereby proclaim January 11th, 2019 as Human Trafficking Awareness Day. Thank you, ladies. All right. Next, we put aside a few minutes to have any citizens that want to come forward and talk to us. Nobody? All right. The consent agenda. A motion approving November 26, 2018 regular council meeting. A consideration of a beer permit refund for Kmart. A consideration of a B wine permit renewal for Oelwein Family Pharmacy, and consideration of a Class E liquor and Sunday sales renewal for Sometimes I Get Thirsty. What did we find out about the Kmart?
Yeah,
We have supplied every refund request that Tammy has seen in her years here at the city. And if we deny it, they would go through the state for a, they would appeal through the state. And so, from what we could tell with the state, that
how much was it though? I didn't see a price on your.
Yeah, there's nothing
Oh.
ever on them.
There was never a cost on the initial.
No,
No. And then you've got a
the dates were wrong too.
June 1st, 2019.
I mean, are we talking like $50 or are we talking?
Yeah, several hundred.
It's not, wow, I thought we had,
Okay, should we take that off again?
I mean, I guess would that affect it? Are we gonna start working with the state and going through their appeal process?
No,
No.
I don't think
All
that's
right.
worth it.
So,
Be nice to know what it
Yeah.
was.
I will get you that cost.
Then what is that effective date? 6/1/19. I looked at the other two and they're like February and
Oh,
January 16th and February. So is that just a wrong date or is that actually is this
I
the
mean-
actual permit?
yes, this is what we get from the state because they apply through the state and then it comes here locally so that we can look at it. I'm not well versed in these.
Well, if you look at the next two,
Well, they probably,
they don't look any way at all the same.
well, this must be the brand new one then. For,
It looks like this is an application, like they're actually applying for it.
Well, this would have been what we're refunding is this application, but I can see where Warren says it
Yeah.
makes no sense with that date in there.
unless they're applying really early.
Because the others have got an effective date and an expiration date on the next two.
Yeah, like this, the example that you show.
Yeah.
So,
It's just very odd.
You had me totally confused. And sometimes didn't take much on.
Well, it had me confused too. So,
It really doesn't make sense.
I mean, we can get more information on it, but I continue to think that we should just refund it as we have done for everyone in the past, and that it's probably more work for us to work with the state on the appeal process, and we're not gonna get any money back anyways.
all right,
Can we just issue the refund but then get the information
Absolutely.
on the backside?
Okay.
is that satisfactory? All right,
Yep.
Luann move,
Second.
Renee second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Darren and Matt, it's your turn next meeting.
Quick to
All right.
withdraw today.
Number 8, consideration of an ordinance providing for the vacation of that portion of the alley running north and south in Block 12 between lots 1 through 6 and 7 through 12, Armstrong's addition to Oelwein, Fayette County, Iowa. This will be the third and final reading.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Fisk,
Abstain.
Christensen,
Yes.
Milks,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Cantrell,
Yes.
Deerfield.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1170.
Number 9, consideration of a motion authorizing repairs to airport AWOS by Ken's Electric and West Union Trenching in an estimated amount of $22,395.
Mayor, Council, as you are aware, the airport is my least favorite department within the city. And however, it is governed by the federal government, state government, and ourselves. One day I received an email from the state saying we need to repair our electrical line to their weather station. And it is at the city's expense that we provide electricity and a line to the weather station that they have. If you will notice on our local news stations, they have not been listing
Yeah,
our temperature
yeah.
lately.
So is this it?
And this is literally the reason.
And somebody told me
That
that it
makes
was the
sense.
weather station on top of the hospital.
That's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's where KWWL has
Yeah, it
theirs
used to
up
be on
there.
the top of
Yeah.
the hospital.
Oh,
Yeah, and I think this is
yeah.
That's
different.
interesting.
So,
Maybe that's KCRG.
we are fortunate that we will receive a 70% match from the DOT, and we have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much
Nope.
discussion, and we will be using franchise fee that we had set aside $10,000 for some of their larger capital items that they wanted to work towards, which was automatic digital fuel pump and things like that. But those will just get kicked down the road for this repair.
Okay,
All right.
all right, should we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, number 10, consideration of a motion authorizing the purchase of PubWorks software in the amount of $14,925 Do we want to add that other 1,200 at this time?
I would
I
recommend
think
it.
we have to.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I think that's a
Okay.
good idea.
If you're gonna utilize the software, you,
Is it 1,250, is that what you said, or 1,200?
It would add 1,250.
Yep.
And then the annual maintenance would increase by
250.
250 annually
All right,
on that.
we got
I
that?
think you could just make the motion including the new software that was suggested.
yes.
All right,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Matt moved, Renee second. All those in favor?
Alright,
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
thanks, Jerry.
Consideration of
Thank you,
a
Jerry.
motion authorizing replacement of the street department roof in the amount of $38,807.98 from Yoder Construction in Waverly.
As you're aware, we've been working on updating the street department. Just to give you a quick rundown where we're at, the floors have been poured. We got the new doors going in. New lighting showed up today,
What isn't new? The walls?
pretty much, pretty much.
Yep.
Not that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And the roof has been leaking from day one, so we went out looking for some bids, quotes, I should say, to redo the roof. We talked to Moss Roofing, because they've done a lot of those large roofs, to see what they thought. And they have what they call as a rhino bond, supposedly lasts about 15 years. They put that on right over the existing steel roof.
So they just spray that on then?
Spray it on, it acts like an insulation, so you got an all-new insulated roof. In talking with him, we said, well, what if we want new steel, new insulation? And he said that I'm not gonna give you a price to that because you can't do it any cheaper than what I'm doing here with Rhino Bond. So then we talked with a couple local people that didn't want too big a project for them, they didn't want anything to do with it, so we asked around who does this kind of work, which led us to AR and Yoder Construction. So AR came in, gave us a price for removing the old, installing a new with new insulation. And then Yoder also did the same, so we were quite surprised to see that he was actually cheaper
What
than
about
Rhino
Lynch?
Bond.
What about Lynch Roofing?
We didn't get hold of everybody.
Okay.
So, these were the ones that answered us back. We've had some, we've been waiting and they haven't responded to us,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that, so.
So these guys are gonna remove the old roof and then put insulation down? Is there insulation up there now?
Yeah, they'll pull the old brick that's shot, they'll pull that out, put new insulation in, put new steel roofing back.
And put steel roofing back on there?
Yeah, same grade as the other one was talking about, so.
Okay, but did you say that, explain what you meant by day one it was leaking? Is it always leaked since you've been out there, or not day one when the new roof was built?
No,
Oh,
not when it was new, but it's been leaking for years now. In fact, when they did I was telling Dylan today, when they did the flooring, there's a little spot in the flooring, and I wondered what that was. It's because the roof continually leaks. And it was dripping in that one spot. So it's just been shot for years and needed something done with it. They tried to do like trailer roofing on it. You know, they rolled it to seal it, and of course that goes bad. They tried to re-roll it. It's just shot, so.
Did you get any people that they've done work for, talk to them to see?
Yoder?
Yeah.
No. We didn't talk to them. We just knew they were one of the bigger ones over in Waverly, is all the feedback we got on it.
Okay.
They do work in there, Charles City, Cedar Falls. So,
This is one that I would like to see one of our local contractors bid this. So I would like to see that.
well, we did
anyway.
we talked to Greg Bryan Construction. He said years ago he'd have done it, won't do it anymore. We talked with, Steve Cockerham, and it's been over a month or so, and we've got nothing
Response.
back out of him. We talked with some of the smaller ones that don't, they don't wanna mess with it, it's too big.
I think the only thing that bothers me on it is that the price difference. I mean, Moss Roofing, I know what he's doing, he's just doing a spray on, $39,000. Then the other bid that you got for similar work is $51,000, that's quite a bit of difference more. I would highly recommend talk to somebody that they've done the work for and find out what kind of job they've got. So sometimes you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
And,
because we looked at like what they quoted us for stuff, the materials are all the same.
okay,
So-
okay.
It
What
isn't
kind of
different.
warranty did
That's
they?
what we wondered, was the metal roofing different, you know?
Yeah, what kind of warranty
So-
did they give you?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. I know the one's a 15. And like we were talking with Matt earlier today, it's, you know, not like we're doing it tomorrow. This is all set up to blow off in the spring. Our big concern is we wanna make sure it happens this budget year, cause it's in budget. So, you know, if you wanna take a step back, have us look at a couple different things, we don't really have any huge heartburn with it.
No, that's the only thing with me. If
No,
I,
they're all valid.
Well, Matt has some
Matt had
questions,
some
so,
good questions
Yep.
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would just like to see Miller Construction get an opportunity to bid as well. They do a lot of work here in town for us. So I would like to see them have an opportunity to bid this as well.
Yeah, we kinda left them out because we knew, talking to him all year, he's told me how far behind he was with the rain and all the houses he had to build and blah, 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 so
Yep.
we really never even talked to him.
Yeah, and I just touched
look
base
at
with
Lynch
him today
too.
just to
If
ask,
you,
so
see if you send a letter out to them.
he's interested in bidding it, so
All right. So,
I would suggest that my suggestion is we
move to table it. All right.
for now.
Second that.
Well, you're gonna move, or Matt moves,
She said-
Luann seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign,
Okay.
and then come back to us when, as soon as you
Yep,
can.
Will do.
Thank you, Vic.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Vic.
that.
Thanks, Vic.
13, consideration of a motion to reschedule December 24th, 2018 council meeting to December 17th due to Christmas Eve holiday.
I'll make motion.
Really?
second it.
You guys don't want to work Christmas Eve? Darren moves, or Warren moves.
No.
Matt, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mayor's report, I'm working on all those committees, and we just found out yesterday that I have to find another one because someone else went into the nursing home, so it's been tough.
Oh, I did get it. The guy that sold the lumberyard, would he be good for?
Yes,
Oh, you did?
well, he's one of my names, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Mr. Lean, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Mayor.
Better to be seen than viewed.
Yes, that's true. I was not given anything to in the interest of brevity, I can keep it short and just say, you have our report. If you have any questions,
right.
what I can answer, I will certainly answer.
Better looking, but not better.
Exactly.
Great.
I just am the pretty face.
Mr. Mulfinger.
Mayor Council, we appreciate you moving that meeting for us. Sometime, we have canceled it 1 year, but I feel like there's a lot we gotta go through for budget this year. You're gonna see that coming down the pipe as we start tonight, and then January, both of those meetings will be heavy with the department heads as we discuss the overall budget and hit on some of their lines that are changing and things like that. And so, be ready for that, and then we'll work up towards a work session next week. Also, we're looking towards a safety committee meeting at 5:30 for that one, for some other topics we've been working on with staff, so.
Okay. All right, Warren,
I-
what can we
I-
do for you?
I just, I talked with Dylan this last week, and I brought up, I thought maybe it might be a good idea, especially with maybe keeping, with so much going on as far as with the housing, the Oelwein housing. I mean, I look at it as it covers a lot of different things. I mean, number one, what are we gonna do with vacant lots? You know, what are we gonna replace with? And I've got the time, I don't know about the rest of you, but I thought maybe it might be something for us to meet. Do we have to meet every other Monday? No, but we can meet when we got things to talk about as we go through this. I'm sure there's gonna be situations come up that, that if we had a committee to talk about the majority of the things that maybe aren't that serious, but need to be talked about or brought up, so. I didn't know how the rest of the city council felt about that. The other thing was, I thought we could have some of the people off the landlord association you know, is that possible to serve with that committee or have input on that committee?
You can certainly invite them as guests, and they can provide as much
Okay.
input as you want
Okay.
throughout that process.
And this committee is for basically like property evaluation, what to do, what's the best interests, or?
I would say it's
my,
bigger.
My thought was just a general thing, future-wise, you know, what's the city gonna look like? Where are we headed?
Okay.
You know, as far as housing, what is needed? You know, houses,
Well, we just had a
Oh, yeah,
huge
housing
housing
committee.
study just done, and we
yeah.
do have a housing committee in town.
and
So we have a housing committee with the chamber, but I feel that they have their niche that they're working through, and I think
Okay.
that I definitely see some value in what Warren's talking about. Any feedback, any additional feedback that we as staff can receive, I think is something that would be very useful. And you're going to see tonight some big proposals of money to be used towards housing, and if that can be flushed out in a committee during an additional meeting, perhaps in between the Mondays each month, I think that's pretty crucial. The more and more committees that I serve on, and meetings that I go to in Oelwein, the ones that meet aggressively and the ones that set deadlines and timelines are the ones that are successful. And I feel that while council has a lot of things going, it's definitely a good idea to break apart some of that and possibly meet for ones that are interested. It can be a 3-person committee, or it can be, more than that. We would meet all the requirements and everything like that. I think what Warren talks about is just the expectations of what does council want to see, from housing, from this rental inspection program, and all of that. And I think it'd be good to jump into that head first, and I think we could definitely make some headway with what we're looking at, so that when we have empty lots, when we have new lots, we would have a plan already in place, and that council members would have a much more familiar process to run that through. Is there any guidelines or anything you want to see right away, and when would you like to get started?
Do you want people to volunteer to let you know if they're willing, or do you want everybody, or?
Do you want us just to contact you, Dylan, if we're interested?
Yeah, I
Is this
think,
kind of a vision thing? I interrupted.
It's
No,
kind of
you're
a
fine.
city planning thing, isn't it?
Yeah, vision, I mean,
City planning.
I think it's anything that has to do with housing, which opens it up to anything. You know, there's programs going on. One of the biggest things is when you start looking at this and reading, if you go and start Googling housing, I mean, Iowa City's got a program they're going on down there where they do between city money and private money, and they take sections and they got a wording for it. But I mean, it's doing projects in the town, in certain areas of town, and going in and doing different things, so. Revamping their housing, bringing the housing up, and they're only talking about 50-year-old housing. We're talking about 100-year-old housing, so.
And so then we'd pick a time to get together?
Well, he suggested, the Monday in between.
Got it, okay.
and we could meet, earlier at 5 or 5:30, just because it's not a formal council meeting, and that way you can scoot right in after work. We knock it out for a half hour to an hour, and then, I see a lot of value in that because, even though we do have lots of goals as a city, everything plays off housing. The feedback I'm receiving is that I'll just send an email out, and then we'll look for volunteers, and we'll set January 21st as our first meeting,
That sounds good.
and then we'll start getting a game plan from there.
Is that the third?
Mhm.
Because Parks and Rec, will we meet in there then? Because that's our Parks and Rec.
We could actually meet in our new boardroom.
My office.
We meet at 5:15
So
in this room.
we'll have a space for
We're
us.
not going to give it up.
That will not take out the Parks and Rec department.
Thank you very
I
much.
think you're making it clear.
I think. All right, anybody have anything else for the good of the cause? Move for adjournment, please.
I'll make the motion.
Telling ya.
Easy
Okay,
the
you
way.
take it, I'll second. I told you.
Pump the brakes, kids, pump the brakes. Matt moves, Luann and seconds. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.